talk today about authentic marketing, aligning your business to authentic profits that sustain and nurture you and your business. So first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Leanne Holitza. I am currently an intuitive healer and offer business guidance to those who would like it on the intuitive level. My background is I have a master's degree in marketing and have worked in marketing in some format for 16 years, much of that in technology marketing and working for companies doing acquisitions. One of the things that I saw with the acquisitions, and from my point of view, I was in marketing and working with the acquisitions, is that a lot of these customer sets were purchased based on a personality and a relationship they had with a vendor, and then basically told that their relationship had changed and that they just had to go with the flow because the tool or the offering was purchased by a different company with different philosophies. There's a lot of backlash that happens with customer sets this way. People don't like to be told who they're working with and how they should be working with them. They like to choose their relationships. And that is really the bottom line. I mean, they do like tools, they do like products, but you also purchase based on relationships. And what we're going to talk about today is being in authentic relationship with your business and your customers and your potential customers, and why that's so important today. So, first of all, let's just be clear, the old model is dead. The way of working where you're isolated and it's win at any cost and you're working constantly, the workaholic behavior, that just doesn't work anymore. The information age has brought us to the intuition age. We've been bombarded with abilities to move faster, do things more quickly, having lots of things at our fingertips, and we have now had to come to the point where we have to listen to our intuition rather than our information to decide what to do next. So, as we're working smarter, so are our customers, and they are bombarded with people selling similar products. I mean, there's very few really truly unique ideas out there, and you got to figure out how you're going to bubble to the top. And this isn't about whether or not your product's the best, it's about that relationship that I mentioned. So the other thing that's really kind of shaping this is that viral world versus, having to get your information from your neighbors and from your mailbox. I mean, you can go out anywhere now with the internet and get information, and stuff spreads very quickly. So if you screw with your customer, it's likely it's going to get out there on the internet pretty fast, and it's hard to undo that. So it's really good to have authentic relationships that are built from authentic foundations so that when things do go viral, they're hopefully amazing connections that you've made with your customers and not ways that you've screwed up. And the other thing too is because of technology and because of our fast-paced society at this point, we are all getting burnt out and we're looking for more sustainable ways of living, and that sustainability is coming out in all kinds of ways with marketing out there with solar panels and messaging on the way that we're living. And so you can see that sustainability is something we want, and we kind of are starting to understand what that means. But we're still trying to come to it with making money in this capitalistic kind of viewpoint. One of the other things that I really want to focus on is win-win-win over some compromise. I mean, compromise means somebody loses, and it's generally, if it's a compromise, everybody a little bit. So the win-win-win is looking for those connections with customers who are serving your highest needs as well as you're serving theirs. So those really good connections that actually you can sustain because you're not losing anything in the exchange. And then finally, the secret, the law of attraction, a lot of that stuff has been out there for a while now and taking hold. So, you're making your own reality at this point. The way you think, the gratitude that you have for the way things are moving forward matter. And so where you aren't a victim of your reality anymore, you have to take charge of it. This is where it comes to, you want to do it from a place that's actually authentic. So, authentic marketing, this age of intuition, where I've already kind of talked about how we're connected and cooperative and sustainable, but one of the things that is really important to understand is we all want the same things in life. We all want to be loved, all want to have joy, we want things to be easy. And if you go back to those fundamental needs and connect there, that's how you're going to find the kind of customers where you can meet with them on the same level of joy and love that you have, coming into sync with the right kinds of people. So what is authentic marketing? Well, the first thing authentic marketing is it's a focused intention of who you are in the world. So this is more than just somebody telling you, you should buy my product because it's good. But this is like that passion, that thing that says, I want to be of service to the world because I've found or do something really amazing and I want people to hear about it. So that is the sustainable foundation. So the sustainable foundation is that you actually have something you believe in and you're not just selling snake oil. And then, you when you go through and connect with people, then you got to understand your influence. So for example, if you are a health coach out there in the world and you're telling people how to eat healthy, you have to really understand that people are coming to you as an expert in health. And so if you are not connected to health yourself, then that would be something that would not be a fit with the authenticity. Or if you're not actually feeling like you like your job and you're going to work every day and trying to put a smile on your face, I mean, those things will influence your interactions with people. So thinking about how you want to be an influence. So ask yourself when you're going forward with this business model, what's my intention? Why am I even doing this job? Why am I even trying to be putting myself forth? Figure out what your sustainable foundation is. Where can I give and get in a balance where I'm not being depleted and other people are getting the service that they need? And then understand your influence. Understand where you actually make an impact. If you are trying to sell something that people will not find you credible on, then why are you selling that? Find the gift that you offer. Find the thing that you were born to naturally come into the world and do. It's there, trust me. If you need help figuring that out, give me a call. Okay, so let's drill in a little bit on focusing your attentions. So, one of the things that you want to do is first understand how much money and resources do you want to be getting out of this job? And then you got to back that into some sort of mathematical equation of how many hours a week you're going to work and figure out if that's doable and sustainable. Now, the thing too about pricing is that you want to make sure that you're not discounting yourself so that you're attracting clients who are not really valuing your product or service and people who are not really into investing in having this work for them. If somebody spends 99 cents on something, generally speaking, they're invested in making it work for themselves. They may find that it still works and it may be great, but there's not an investment from their end. So where's your price point where you can get your customers to invest in you while you're investing in them? The other thing about this is to figure out the hours of work that's required. Even if you don't have work, you want to start to just put it out there that this is the block of time that I'm dedicating to my business. No matter what kind of work I have, I am going to create a list that will be about my business when I have time. So if you have a block of time, let's say it's 3 hours in a day, and you know that that was when you wanted to be working, then you go ahead and just make a list. What could I be doing in those 3 hours? That could be the first order of business, is having a list that you can go to anytime you have a free time to just pull off that list anywhere you want to and work from, knowing you're focusing on your business. Now, the other thing is to have a clear customer intention statement. Who do you want to work with? What kind of people do you want to be filling those spaces in your life? Do you want to interact with people? Do you want to be by yourself? What kind of people do you want to interact with? And who do you want around you to help? This is all stuff that you want to know way in advance. So really putting yourself clear on the board there as to who you want to be working with. Now, the other thing to do is to work on an 8 to 10 word mission statement. That could be anything that you want to describe your business, but that's kind of your like to remind yourself, oh yeah, this is what my mission is. This is what my mission is, so that you can put it out there in things, but also to remind yourself when you get off mission. Now, some other things that come with this is you can hone your vocabulary with this mission statement and customers and pricing, which then can kind of help you plan Google AdWords, work on other like-minded people's websites, find books that reflect your work, that kind of thing. Now, if you're attracting the wrong customers, that you want to know why. Now, it could be for a variety of reasons, and we can go into that in another webcast as to how to really dig into the wrong customers. But if you are attracting the wrong customers, you probably want to go back and refocus your intentions. Okay, so let's talk more about authentic customers. So, one of the things about me that I haven't shared yet is that I have celiac disease. And I, as a celiac, am very loyal to the restaurants that make a huge effort to try to accommodate me and my family because I also have a son that's celiac. It's very difficult as a celiac to go out in the world and be able to eat in a restaurant or out there with family and friends in a safe way and not worry about getting sick. And when I see that my restaurant is going to actually put some effort into knowing me, knowing my needs, and helping me meet my needs, then I'm going to want to go back. I mean, I am extremely loyal to those celiac friendly restaurants. And the thing about that is I'm the least common denominator on these factors. So wherever I go is where my family goes. So I get to decide. So me being that loyal customer, it makes a lot of sense for companies like Chipotle to work with food allergies. They've also figured out that we're moving into the age of really wanting environmentally responsible companies, not just greedy companies who want to sell us crap. We want health conscious companies. We want companies who are thinking about us and our well-being and not just trying to buck from us. And that is one thing that Chipotle has done amazing with as far as no tacky sales pitches. I mean, sometimes they have those little quirky stories on their cups. That's still authentic. That's just like silly and playful. And that's exactly, what the connection is they're trying to create with you. So, the thing is that Chipotle found its passion first and then he sold it. And it wasn't snake oil. It wasn't like, wonder how I can make some money off of everybody. No, it was, I think I have a great idea and I want to share it with the world. Again, win, win, win here with Chipotle because if you think about it, they're getting a customer, a very loyal customer, by caring about my celiac disease. And they have lost nothing in the process because they have figured out ways that it kind of fits into their business model. Now, vocabulary matters. If you are going to say you are gluten-free or gluten-friendly, and you've got a person who comes in that's celiac, knowledgeable about what that means, and you don't really know what that means yourself, then you're in trouble because you just pretended to be something you're not. So you don't want to come up with statements. You don't want to read about people's profiles and then say, oh, here, buy this based on what you read in their profile because that's not authentic. You don't know anything about that person. Get to know the people you want to work with. Get to know their vocabulary, what they care about, what are their passions, and then actually get to where you can match that up with passions versus trying to kind of, win somebody over. Again, back to the authentic pricing. I mean, it does matter. You want to charge enough to make it valuable to both sides and be willing to let those customers go that aren't a good fit. The ones that are just never happy or satisfied, you can let them go. Let them find the right fit for them. It's out there and you will be no worse off for it. If you are aligning yourself with authentic customers, what you offer and needed in the world will come together. So let's go a little bit more into the sustainable outcome conversation. So, it's be honest with yourself because your customers feel it when you're not honest. If you're scared to death about making money and you don't think you're going to be able to do it, your customers are going to feel that. So, first you have to kind of understand what is your definition of abundance to begin with. You can see here in the slide there's a little bit of a wheel. And this is, health, wealth, family, friends, playtime, relationships. All these things matter and all of these things are abundance. These things are important in your life. This is not a wheel of money. This is a wheel of all the things you'd want. And it's different for everybody. Some people really like to work on their health. Some people really like to take vacations. Some people really like to be alone and go hiking in the mountains. What is your definition of abundance? And that's where you want to start when you start breaking this all. Now, the other thing about this all is that you want to keep your physical, emotional, and spiritual tank full. Because if you go to work depleted and you're not feeling good about life, it is very difficult to come to a sustainable space with your customers. They are already working with an empty well. And so what you have to give is not going to be sustainable for either one of you. So if you are lacking in any of these areas, you want to go get those things addressed as part of your business plan. Don't plan for the worst, but have a plan B. So, what does that mean? What does it mean to have a plan B? it doesn't mean you're planning for the worst, but it means that you think about, okay, I'm willing to put myself out there in this place, but I also know that I have other options available to me, and I am flexible in those choices, because sometimes the way all this works is what we think is our gift is just barely cracking the surface when we try to offer it, and then we realize our gift actually is somewhere else. So being willing to be flexible and go with the flow on top of everything else. And finally, I would like to say, trust the wisdom of downtime. If your business is slow, trust it. There is probably a good reason. It probably means you need to work on your physical, emotional, spiritual tank, or that you need to spend some time on that list of things that you wrote that you would do in your downtime. There is nothing wrong with downtime if you embrace it. It helps bring in the abundance that you're looking for. If you freak out, trust me, it blocks it off. Start on a sustainable foundation. So let's talk a little bit about what this means. So this little smart wool company is just an example about how they figured out how we want to buy from places that we believe from start to finish everybody is happy to bring us this finished product. We don't want to hear that animals or people suffered to bring us what we're wanting. We want to hear that it's actually been brought to us through passion and love. So that's the first thing you want to think about is, how can I be giving to the world from this happy space, not this sacrificing space? So with you laying out your foundation, figure out your abundance wheel. What is your ideal? And then do one that's an actual and kind of see how far you have to go to get there. Lay out your schedule, like how many hours you want to work, and stick to it. And list out the signals when something isn't working. So like while you're working with all this, think about how you can list out, like, okay, if I don't have customers for 3 weeks, something's not working. Or if I don't have a product sold by 6 months into this project, I'm not going to keep pursuing it. So have some little milestones so that you can keep yourself on track. Plus, celebrate your successes when you do hit those milestones. A lot of times we just tug away, chug away, chug away, chug away, and we never congratulate ourselves for how far we've come. So be sure to give yourself little gratitudes on what is working and when things are working, even if it's little, even if it's, I got a phone call asking me about my business today. That's just letting everybody know in the world and the universe that you are happy with that. Yes, thank you, Morps. So also, doing a formal business plan with an exit strategy is never a bad idea. Being with the business background that I have, there is a business foundation that is needed to keep things sustainable. You can't just stick your hands out and say, hey, I'm good at this, I'm going to do it, without a plan, without some sort of structure around it. If you can't do structure yourself, go and see if you can find someone to help you out. Okay, let's talk a little bit more in depth about authentic influence. This is about knowing who you are first. So your customers can't know who you are until you know who you are. So know your beliefs, know what you're wanting to sell. If you have employees or coworkers, know about them and know about your community. So here's my lovely little Chipotle company that I love so much. And I love this statement. Food with integrity is our commitment to finding the very best ingredients, raised with respect for the animals and environment and the farmers. This is a company that I can connect with. I agree with all these things. These are along the lines of my belief as well. And I like to hear that I am buying from places that are supporting what I believe in for the world. So if you don't work for yourself, you can still apply this, because if you work for a company that is selling something you don't believe in, you're probably wanting to find a different job. And I think that you would actually find a lot more success in the happiness and fulfillment and sustainability if you are actually passionate for what you do. So thinking about what your beliefs are, and then go in and say, do I own it? Do I let myself have this belief? Would I tell people? If not, why not? What am I holding back on? And why am I holding back? And how can I make sure that I am clean and clear with how I believe in the world, so that I can offer that to the connections that I want to create with my customers? Also, think about following the flow. So let's say you think you want to work with this kind of customer and a whole slew of other customers comes in. This happened with my business. So I, was working with adults and primarily females, because they come to me a lot more often. And what I was noticing is that there was a lot of females struggling with their children. And they kind of cornered me and asked me to work with their kids. And at first I was reluctant because I was thinking, I'm not going to be working with kids. And now, 7 years later, I'm still working with kids and creating things for kids, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So, if I wouldn't have followed that flow, if I wouldn't have listened to my customers and their requests and their needs, I wouldn't have had that open up for me. So, it's kind of like you want to listen to yourself, but you also want to listen to what is the world asking you to become. And then that leads me to knowing your community. Now, if you are out there in the community trying to sell, let's say, the respect for animals, and pretty much everybody there has a belief system that animals don't have brains and don't have feelings and don't matter, then you're probably going to struggle with what you're actually fitting together there. So finding a community that you actually resonate with is also very important. And it can be a small community or a big community, and it could be global. I mean, we're in this internet age now where you can connect to anybody, anywhere. So kind of think about that too while you're trying to put your influence out there in the world. Okay, so now that you've refined your intentions and you've figured out what authentic marketing really means and you got that foundation down, now go spread it around the world. Spread the word. So blog about it, record webcasts, look for speaking opportunities, spread it any way you know how to spread your knowledge. By showing what you have to offer as knowledge, your customers will be able to find the spaces that you are available in, and they will connect in those spaces because you're offering a knowledge that they need. Also, let your customers tell you what they think of you, what your influence is to them. Let them kind of help refine what you say about yourself, because you may think that you're offering one thing and they say, no, you offer this whole other thing too. Use what your customers say to kind of influence what you say to yourself and about yourself. Also get those customers, obviously, to write those lovely customer testimonials. As far as social media goes, take some classes, figure out what the social media is about. There's lots of cheap classes out there, but don't be fake about it. Don't go use your social connections to spread salesy ideas. Only go where it's passionate. Say things you mean. Say things you feel down in the core of yourself about. Don't go trying to get on stuff that you don't understand as well. You can learn it, but if you go out there and you don't understand Twitter and you try to be on Twitter to sell to people, they are going to know your motivation is just to sell to them and not to connect with them. And they are not going to like that very much. So go out there in that authentic connection space when you use social media. What do you naturally gravitate towards? What do your customers naturally gravitate toward? Then learn how to use it and do things that are really, truly coming from the heart, not just that sales pitch. And here's one thing I'm going to say is competition is no longer needed. Release the need to compete. There is plenty of us in the world with unique gifts, and the customers who need us have the unique customers. I cannot tell you how many times I've been to one massage therapist for one thing and another massage therapist for another thing because they offer unique gifts. They look like they might be in competition, but clearly the person who would go to this other person would not go to that other person based on their needs and what they need. So thinking about the concept that you don't need to compete, you just have to show up. Stop comparing yourself to others. You can use people's influences and to help you grow, to help you understand things, but do not use it to measure yourself, to put a bar there that says this is how it has to be for me, because that will not be authentically connecting with your customers. That will be inauthentically connecting with your competition's customers. Don't do that. Go to the people who want you for you. People will appreciate it. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen to Authentic Marketing. I can help you further if you'd like with your business to get you aligned with your authentic self and your business and help work with some marketing ideas as well as some intuitive ideas to get your abundance on track. If you would like to work together, I have created a package just specifically for this purpose. It is a $500 session for 5 sessions, working together on all levels, marketing help as well as intuitive clearing and help with understanding where you might be blocked. So if you would like to work with me on that further, feel free to go to my website and book an appointment. It is under Authentic Marketing, and we can work together to get you on track with getting the most authentic customers you can get. I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.